That's something also that is another practical lesson for us, that present blessings is not a guarantee of future blessings. In other words, I'm talking about blessings in the sense of good health, uh, things going well with the family, with the local church, and so on, financially, etc. We can never take for granted that our life is going to be always trouble free in this world. We can't. Why? Because otherwise, heaven will not be attractive to us. Then our life here on this world will become so comfortable to us that we might lose the appreciation of the coming of the Lord that our brother mentioned in his prayer. And then we might be so happy and entertained here. The Lord Jesus himself said to his disciples, in the world you shall have tribulations, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So problems in this world, they will happen one way or another. It could be in different ways. It could be, like in this case, temptation to do evil. We have to remember that James said that we cannot say that temptation comes from God because God doesn't want us to sin. Temptation comes, of course, at the end from the evil one. But James, in his first chapter, reminds us that temptations, they are also because there is lust in us, because we have a sinful nature. But we know that there are also other kinds of troubles that happen to us. We are in a world that is marked by the consequences of sin. There are things that we cannot explain. When there is a tragedy in a family, for example, when there is something that we just cannot explain, is that a trial? Was the Lord testing me? Why did the Lord allow this to happen to me? And so on. Remember, we lived in this world that is suffering the consequences of sin. And we Christians, we cannot escape from being in this world until the Lord comes to take us to be with him. And one way or another, at some point, we are going to realize and we are going to have to confess that we don't have an explanation to a problem that we are having. But once again, that help us to look forward to the coming of the Lord, and then that the world is not going to be so attractive unto us. Of course, there might be times when the difficulties might be a trial of our faith, like in First Peter. And also, James repeat the same expression, the trial of your faith. So our faith need to be tested. We need to show that we really are trusting in the Lord, and that is not possible if we don't have trials. Look, this is not a topic, of course, that I think that none of us want to talk in public, pretending that we know everything about it, because we don't. We have to confess we don't like it. We don't like trials. But when we see the scriptures, the trials have the purpose of the praise and the glory of God. That is 1 Peter chapter 1. But trials help us to trust in the Lord and to grow spiritually, so that when others are going through the same circumstances, we can talk to them and we can help them. How encouraging it has been for me when brethren that have gone through the kind of problem that I have had during my lifetime, and they say, well, Williams, I was there, and I can tell you the Lord is faithful. Coming from someone that has been there, it has been a tremendous encouragement. If someone that has never been in that kind of problem come to me and say, oh, well, look, you don't have enough faith. You are not trusting in the Lord. You need to just look at the Lord. That becomes meaningless. But when it comes from someone that has been there, that's something that we can appreciate.